Hola, buenos días. En este video vamos a practicar aprender el imperfecto en español. So we're going to be practicing the imperfect in Spanish. The imperfect is a form of the past tense in Spanish. By now you've probably learned the preterite, which is also talking about the past in Spanish, things that people did. The imperfect is similar but different at the same time. If you want to kind of learn the differences between the preterite and perfect, if you're looking for that, there are 3 links that I have for you. In the description of my video, there's one link. It'll take you to a document. The document that it takes you to is something that I will be referencing throughout this video. It has notes on it, an activity on it, and other stuff as well that you can use. It'd be very useful. So you don't have to print it off, but if you want to just have it open, it can help you out. So anyway, on that document, there are 3 links that will take you to some videos on the preterite versus the imperfect if you want to do that. But if you want to do just the imperfect, stick around because that's what we're doing now. So the imperfect is used to talk about things that were ongoing in the past, things that didn't necessarily have like a completed action. So it's kind of like the ing of the past, like what people were doing, but there's other stuff involved as well. So some things that are used in imperfect in the past are when you're talking about age, weather, time, actions that were ongoing, actions without specified endings, background information, habitual actions, which are things that you did over and over again, like when I was a kid, my family and I, we went to the park every Saturday. That would be a habitual action. So what I'm going to do here for you is first kind of conjugate verbs in the imperfect and then give you a chance to practice the conjugations. If you want to see some other lessons on the imperfect, I have 2 more links in that document that will take you to those lessons as well. So first, let's look at some regular verbs in the imperfect. And I'll give you the verb hablar for an AR verb, and it conjugates as follows. And again, this is all in that document. Hablaba, hablabas, hablaba, hablábamos, hablabais, and hablaban. And let's do an ER verb like comer. Comía, comías, comía, comíamos, comíais, comían. And we'll do an IR verb like vivir. Vivía, vivías, vivía, vivíamos, vivíais, vivían. So by now you've probably noticed 2 things. With all of the verbs, you'll notice that the yo form and the él, ella, usted, he, she form are exactly the same, which makes it easier. Something else you might notice is that the ER and IR verbs have the exact same conjugations in the imperfect. So it's like the preterite, where they have the same endings for ER and IR verbs. The imperfect, the ER and IR verbs are also the same. Now, if you're following along that document, I have I have some irregular verbs in the imperfect. The thing that's nice about the imperfect is that there are only 3 irregular verbs. Of all the verbs in Spanish, the hundreds or thousands, how many there are, only 3 of them are irregular, and they're ser, ir, and ver. Again, these are on the document for you. So ser is era, eras, era, éramos, erais, eran. Ir is iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, ibais, iban. And ver is veía, veías, veía, veíamos, veíais, veían. Ser and ir are clearly pretty irregular. Ver isn't too irregular. The only thing that's weird about it is that instead of taking off the ER and then adding the ER endings to it, you just take the R off and then you add the ER, IR endings to it. So it's not too irregular. And we're also currently learning in my class right now reflexive verbs. So for my students, I'm just going to show you how to conjugate a reflexive verb in the imperfect. It's not any different than it would be in the present tense or the preterite. So you're going to take the say off of the end, put it in front, change it as necessary, and then conjugate what's left over. So a couple examples for you. Again, this is all on the handout for you in the description of the video. With cansarse, to get tired, it would be me cansaba, te cansabas, se cansaba, nos cansábamos, os cansabais, se cansaban. And aburrirse, I just did an IR verb and I didn't do an ER verb because they have the same ending, so it would be the same anyway. So aburrirse, to get bored, would be me aburría, te aburrías, se aburría, nos aburríamos, os aburríais, se aburrían. And just to do some practice here for you, there's 5 sentences on that document, and I'll go ahead and put them on the screen for you. And I want you to conjugate the verbs into the imperfect for me. So pause the video if you want to do it now, because I'm going to start giving my answers right now. So, 1. Cuando yo era más joven, yo siempre trepaba a los árboles. 2. Cuando mis amigos tenían 8 años, ellos siempre veían TMNT en la tele. 3. Mi familia iba a la playa en Los Ángeles mucho cuando hacía sol. 4. Cuando yo asistía a la universidad, mis amigos y yo siempre nos reuníamos en el restaurante. 5. Yo me portaba mal cuando yo tenía 15 años. So all of these sentences and the answers are also available in that document for you if you want to take it with you. That's pretty much it. The imperfect is really kind of like the ongoing stuff in the past. The conjugations of it really are much easier than the preterite because there are only 3 irregular verbs in the imperfect, and the ER-IR verbs have the same endings in the imperfect as well. So there's nothing too complicated about it. Again, it's background information, age, weather, ongoing stuff in the past. That's pretty much it. If you have questions or anything you're unsure about, please make sure to leave a comment for me. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks.